Knees and toes.
Does shoulders have to do with anything?
Because of what you did to my bold prediction. Yes, I'm taking this too far, but I don't care. We're
The
going.
noise is great for those who are audio only.
What's up, everyone, and welcome into the Buffalo Sports Collective. It is Friday, December 26, 2025. As always, I am PK alongside my host Phil, episode 399. We're actually recording on the 26th. We're going to power through this, splits it, get it edited, and post it right away because Christmas was chaotic. And then Phil had to work on Friday, so it's a later recording, but we're getting it out. Plenty of time before all the stuff that we hit is obsolete. But remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Buffalo Sports Collective, and on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Co. Don't forget to follow our channel wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at buffalosportscollective.com. Phil's article will be out next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday because it's a Sunday night game. Who knows? We'll keep you updated. And then look for the time breakdowns in the description of the show. Coming up this week, we got a reel coming out on Saturday with our interview from Amran Wahindi from Roughnecks. That came out on Wednesday. Give that a listen. We break down Buffalo versus Calgary coming up on Sunday night. Tuesday is our reaction to Bandits game. Remember, it's Tuesday, not Monday this week because of a late Sunday game. We didn't want to be recording at midnight. Wednesday, I don't even think Phil knows this yet because I'm just setting it up now, but we'll have Zach Greer on the show to do our Bandits versus Desert Dogs preview. Last year, I think I had Jake Elliott on for the Desert Dogs. This year, Zach Greer, color commentator for the team, former NLLer. So I'm excited to break that preview down. But on today's show, and like I mentioned, Phil's article will be out either Tuesday or Wednesday. Haven't really discussed on which day. If he wants to keep it Tuesday, I'm fine with that. I just was going to give him another day buffer. Today's show, Bills versus Eagles. Bills are in the playoffs, so we're not going to break that down. We got a holiday-themed game we're going to be playing. It's also mine and Phil's favorite show, The Office. It's also that themed. Sabres' last two games are on a 7-game winning streak. Bandits preview versus the Roughnecks. And then week 5 across the NLL. Yeah, we'll get it going now. Bills versus Eagles Sunday. Sunday at 4:25.
He's just so excited.
I'm so excited for this game. I came up with it last minute, but I'm excited for it. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, we don't preview Bills games whatsoever. There's plenty of other podcasts to do. We're a Bandits-centered show, so we're going to stick to that. But it's the holiday season. Christmas just wrapped up yesterday. If you're listening to this on Friday, it wrapped up on Thursday. Last week, we did a holiday game night. So instead of talking Bills versus Eagles, because I don't really care right now, I'm more worried about fantasy, and I'm in the finals in all three. And this Christmas games were not good to me. There's other shows to preview Bills versus Eagles. Let's bring in our favorite show to help out with this game, The Office. They had a holiday gift exchange party. I believe that was season 1, if I remember correctly.
I think it's 2.
Is it 2? Oh, yeah, because season 1 only had 6 episodes. So Season 2. So the name of this game is Who Brought the Gift? And it's Office/Bills themed. So all the gifts that the members of the Office brought to the holiday, what was it originally called? Secret Santa. And then they changed it into White Elephant or Evil Santa, whatever it was. We're going to pick a Buffalo Bills player or coach. I don't know if Phil has any coaches. We don't know each other's picks yet. But that we thought would have brought that certain gift. Now, this could go off the rails real quick. No idea. But the first gift we got is Phyllis's handmade oven mitt. Phil, who from the Buffalo Bills would have brought the oven mitt that kind of goes underappreciated and is actually a really good gift?
I picked Reed Ferguson. Mainly because you never hear about him. He's one of the longtime members of the Bills. I feel like he's always, whenever they interview him, he's a great guy. Seems like a great guy in the community, but no one ever brings up his name at all. But I feel like he's someone who would do, like, make an oven mitt, make something really handmade and nice. So I went Reed Ferguson.
I like it. I think he also grills a lot. I went Spencer Brown because Deion Dawkins gets all the attention for being the left tackle, but the right tackle, Spencer Brown, when he was absent, it looked apparent. So he goes very underappreciated for me.
I
Next
feel
one.
like we did this list differently.
Oh, probably. That's
I
okay,
did what like if they actually brought it. I did it as if they were doing the gift exchange.
That's
You
fine.
did it as in who
The
on the
meaning behind
team
it.
represents
Yeah,
this gift.
that's fine. We
So
get both angles here. This is
yeah,
our game.
but
We can
some
do
of
it
us,
however the heck we
some of them
want.
might cross over anyway.
Shower radio. I believe this was Kelly that gave it to Oscar. Yes. This is to me. This is the one who did the research and got the gift right for the right person. I went Cole Bishop just because of he studied the game film, got better through the season, and now he can be relied upon. To me, that's who I got. But Phil, who actually brought the shower radio for you?
I picked Trey White. I feel like he's the one who would do the research and get the proper gift for the person. He seems like he would be very dialed in for this kind of gift exchange, and he'd make sure it meant something to the person receiving it.
I like it. Next one, teapot. To me, that means there's more meaning behind the actual gift. Remember, this was Jim to Pam, and then Dwight got it and wanted to use it as a nasal thing. I did Dalton Kincaid because to me, the numbers don't really reflect his play on the field because when he's on the field, he's fantastic. It's just tough to stay on the field, so there's more meaning to why his numbers are down this season.
I picked Josh Allen because I feel like he's got a lot of inside jokes and
That's fair.
things like that with the players, and I feel like he would he'd pick something that has like 17 different meanings behind it, all in one little bow.
He'd have Reed Ferguson as a child of his
right,
pitcher.
exactly.
Yeah, I like it. An old shirt. This was Creed to Jim. Forgot the assignment and kind of improvised. This one was pretty clear and obvious for me. It was Keon Coleman. Obvious reasons. Don't have to go into it. But yeah, Keon Coleman would bring the old shirt because he forgot they were doing Secret Santa.
I also picked Keon Coleman.
Yep, there it is. There's a curse crossover.
For this one. Yeah, forgot the assignment. We all know what happened. We don't need to dive into it.
Next one is the foot bath. To me, it's more focused on themselves, and this was Kevin to Kevin. He got his own name. He was supposed to tell people, and he didn't. I picked James Cook, and not because I think he's out for his own numbers, but because this whole offseason, he said, I am a top 5 running back in this league. I deserve to be paid like one, and he's proven it on the field. So I'm going James Cook brought the foot bath for himself.
I also went James Cook for this one. Same reason. I mean, he had the big contract offseason, which is obviously focused on himself, which it should be. Go get your money, go get paid, by all means. And even this year, I think they just had a quote of like, are you focused on the rushing title for the season? He said, yeah, I am. I would like to win it. So, and hey, if he wins it, that's good for the team. So keep it going. What's he at? Over 1,500 yards rushing this year so far? Like, yeah. It's insane. And he's had a couple down games, which is pretty wild. So yeah, definitely agree with you on that.
The iPod. This was Michael to Ryan. Spent way too much money on it. Goes above and beyond the $25. But to me, this goes above and beyond. And to me, that's Reggie Gilliam. He goes underappreciated. His pushes for Josh Allen's tush are unbelievable. I don't think there's been a time this season that Josh Allen has not got it. And then the running game, to me, he's a big part of the reason why it's so successful. He doesn't get appreciated enough, and for some reason didn't make the Pro Bowl game. But that's okay, Reggie, because the Pro Bowl game means literally nothing. Who cares? It's a popularity contest.
I picked Deion Dawkins because I feel like he would be the one to go above and beyond with a gift for people. I think he would just he would get something very extravagant for whoever he's got in a gift exchange.
So there was 4 more. Did you pick players for these ones as well?
I have 3. The only one I didn't do was paintball, so I got the other 3.
Yeah, I kind of just gave the first few. I wasn't sure if you got them all. Babies dressed as jazz musicians. This was Oscar to
Angela.
Okay.
Yes.
Man, I'm pulling these out of the vault here. To me, this is a little out there and a little crazy. And I did Deion Dawkins because I think he's a little out there and a little crazy, especially based on the HBO series Hard Knocks. I think he fits perfectly with this one as babies dressed as jazz musicians.
I did Prater because kickers are a little out there and a little crazy themselves. They're all a little weird. The kickers, they're like goalies in the NHL or soccer or whatever it is. They're a little goofy.
You know what? It wasn't what's his name? It wasn't Oscar. It was Toby. Toby got it for Angela because Oscar got Creed a shamrock keychain because he thinks he's Irish. He doesn't know much about it. Need a little luck on their side. To me, this goes to Josh Palmer just based on, not because of his performance, but because he was actually able to come back and play based on what I saw, that injury. I thought he was done for the year. So he's got a little luck on his side being back on the field and playing football. I wouldn't say playing well, but playing football.
Pretty simple. I picked Connor McGovern because I'm pretty sure it's an Irish name. So
good one.
I was I just looked at the whole roster and was like, who might have an Irish last name? And
I like it.
There we are.
Second to last one, nameplate. This was Stanley to Kelly, and it just said the name Kelly on it. And he goes, yeah, that was meant for Kelly. And then Ryan goes, oh, yeah, I knew. Player that became a household name is how I interpreted this. Deion Walker, to me, just because of fourth-round rookie draft pick coming out, making a name for himself, I love that one.
I kind of took it the opposite way of a player that no one remembers because they just aren't called upon very often. I pitched Mitch Trubisky. I think everyone knows who the backup on the Bills is, but no one really cares or ever mentions him because it's all Josh Allen all day, all the time. So I think he would need a nameplate in case people forgot his name.
Last one here, and I'll talk a little bit longer if you wanted to think of
solo
one.
on this one.
Okay, paintball pellets and paintball lessons. This was Dwight to Michael. I think Michael. It wasn't Dwight to Michael.
Not originally.
Michael ended up getting it, and he goes, why would I want paintball lessons? I got people on iPod. And then this, to me, is helping others. Dwight kind of, to me, in a weird way, he did this to help others improve their life. I did Jordan Poyer. I was not happy with the practice squad signing. I wasn't happy with him coming up, but I think the defense kind of adjusted to the back end. They trust him more. He's playing very well, not anywhere close to what he was. And I think he's a big reason Cole Bishop is playing at the level that he is now. So I went Jordan Poyer.
Yeah, I don't have a paintball pellets lesson one.
Very fair.
I got nothing.
For the rest of the league, Denver already beat Kansas City in a
Barely.
snooze fest.
What the heck was that?
Yeah, I think they've won 11 games this year, decided by one or single digits or within one possession.
Denver's defense in a third-place match, and they did horrendous against a third-string KC QB for a team that's not even in the playoff hunt. Like, what are we doing, Denver? What are we doing?
Against their third-string quarterback? Whew.
Yeah, I think they got like
Gross.
one sack, and that was about it. It was like, okay, that's great.
Houston goes against the Chargers. Baltimore is in a must-win versus Green Bay. It sounds like both those starters are not playing. Pittsburgh wins, and they're in pretty much versus Cleveland. Jags get Indy. If Jags win, they clinch. Indy's done. And then New England versus the Jets. Buffalo really needs New England to drop one of these next two games, and Buffalo needs to win them both. But we're tidying up everything there. We'll break down the Bills versus Eagles. Well, not break it down. We'll go over our thoughts and feelings on it on the next show. Sabres. Sunday, they beat New Jersey 3-1. UPL played outstanding. To me, he was a big reason, one of the only reasons they won that game. He played fantastic. And then Tuesday versus Ottawa, they won that one in overtime. And Bo Byram kind of called game both times. Scored in the first and scored in overtime. Ostlund scores again. He's not going back to Rochester anytime soon. But 7 games in a row. Phil, my question to you is, are you bought back in yet? And if you are or you aren't, why are you bought back in or why aren't you?
One of the things I liked from those two games, though, was that even though UPL played amazing, they went right back to Lion, which
100%.
was fantastic. I mean, they could have easily said, okay, UPL just played great, let's ride the hot hand, but they just are acting as if Lion is their true starting goalie as they should, which was nice to see. I am not. It's going to take a lot, I think, to really... I'm inching closer to being bought back in. I'm starting to dip back into news and notes and articles and other people's thoughts and opinions and feelings on the team and what they're doing. And it's fun to hear them talked about not in a negative light for the first time in a really, really long time. I mean, what they say, first 7-game win streak in 7 years. So it's been a really long time since they've had pretty much any positivity other than a 1 or 2 game win streak, maybe 3. So this is probably the most positive it's been, but I don't know. I'm waiting for them to then go on like a 6-game losing streak and fall apart and not be able to keep it going. I think they have the pieces right now to keep it going. We'll see if they make any trades, if they make any moves, if they're sticking with this team as it is, if they end up with a coaching change or anything like that. I don't know. I think they would just have to keep going. Like I'm still a ways, I think, from being truly bought back in. This is a playoff team. They're great because it really doesn't make sense. I don't know why a GM being fired would affect the team so much. I don't know if they just are happen to be on a true hot streak right now, and a lot of these have been overtime wins. A lot of them have been very close. It's not like they're blowing the doors off of people and looking like an elite team. Like they're winning games, which is clutch. And the two teams they just beat were ahead of them in the standings, like most people, but they were directly ahead of them. So they're really big wins, but it's going to still take a little bit, I think, for me to be truly bought back into this team.
That's pretty much exactly how I feel. I mean, they've jumped 3 teams already. There's 5 more in front of them, and they have games in hand on 3 of the 5. They're 2 points back of a wild card spot, but Florida's the one in the wild card spot. You're going to need somebody else to fall back. I think Florida's making the playoffs regardless. But I'm not bought back in, but I'm on the first step of the pool. So
Yes.
you can kind of consider me in the pool, but I'm like sitting on the sidelines with my foot in. Like that's it. Like it's right at my ankles. That's it. I'm my body's adjusting to the temperature. That's what I meant. Like you said though, they could instantly go out and lose 5 straight, and all the work that you do, like 7 games, they won in a row to jump 3 teams. That's how detrimental you can be by having a bad start to your season. If you get to 10, that's great. But like what I want to see is if you lose 1, can you win 3 more in a row? If
Right.
you lose 2 in a row, can you win 5 in a row? Like I need this type of play the whole time. Like there's been too many
Exactly.
instances, and yes, I know that the 7-game winning streak is the longest one in a while here. I get that. So maybe it's buying more people back in. But to me, I need them to go on a long streak of like, I want to see what you're doing in a 25 game sample size here. If you're playing the same style, like I can't have any quit nights. And
Right.
like you said, I agree. It's weird that a GM change, which has been rumored for a long time, is the reason that these players are actually putting effort into the ice night in and night out. That's all we've been asking for how many years here, Phil? We've had this podcast for going on close to 5 years now. We've never once asked them to make the playoffs. Like we've predicted that they would in a bold prediction. That's why it's bold. But we've never asked them to get into the playoffs and win a series. We've been asking them to have entertaining games. And the last 7
And
have been
try.
entertaining games. Try. Yeah, that's all we're asking for. Like it's not that much to get to a try level. Just put the effort on the ice. I do like the players that they've brought in because Oslin's busting his butt. You already see Zach Benson and Josh Doan doing it all the time, but it's those 4th liners now that are contributing, but also putting in the effort, and it's moving up through the roster. Like I am very interested. I'm interested to see how long they can keep this up because I shouldn't be this way in a 5 game or 7 game winning streak, but 14 and a half years of no playoffs does something to a guy. So I need a longer sample size than just the 7. Everybody that's saying, oh, they're on a really good winning streak, you should buy back in and give them their support. They haven't earned the support. Like
Right.
that's the biggest thing. But I'm staying positive here. I'm on the first step of a 4-step thing to get into the shallow end of the pool. So
Yeah, like you said, you can't
I'm in the
like
pool.
win 8 and then
Yeah.
lose 2 and then win 2, lose 2, win 2. Like you can't go back to what you were doing. Like if you do lose, these streaks have to continue the entire season
Yep.
in order to truly make playoffs. Like it can't just be okay, well now we're going to go back to 500 and lose 3 and win 3. Like you can't be partially in the rest of the way. Like you have to continually have 5 game, 6 game, 7 game streaks throughout the rest of the season without a detrimental 10 game losing streak mixed in there. So it's still going to be very difficult, but like you said, it's exciting, it's positive. We'll take it because for a while there it was all negative again. So we'll take some positivity out of that team, but not completely bought back in. But like you said, keeping a closer eye on what's going on, keeping an eye on the team, what they're doing. So it's your attention is a little more focused on the team than it was.
Yeah, I don't want them to lose, obviously. I want them to keep this winning streak going. But I am actually interested to see what happens to this team the second game after a loss.
Right.
Like, that to me is the bigger tell than, them going on another winning streak. I need to see what they do after they drop one. But before we dive into the Bandits preview, let's go over our sponsor of this episode, Tap That Tap Room.
Tap That Tap Room is at 363 Delaware Street in Tonawanda, New York. They are Buffalo's first women-owned self-pour bar featuring 30 consistently rotating taps, offering a wide variety of ciders, beers, sours, seltzers, and malt beverages.
They need to buckle up this Sunday because they got a doubleheader coming. This might be the first time in a very long time that they've had Bills, Bandits, same day. Like, a lot of times it's back-to-back days. But there's no rest for the weary here. 4:25, Bills versus Eagles watch party. Get there. And then when you're there, game will be over around like 7:30, 7:45, right in time for Bandits versus Roughnecks. Camp out. Make sure you get there early because you're going to want a seat. You're not going to want standing room to be standing there for, 6, 7, 8 hours. But if you are, it's very easy just to walk over, grab a drink from the self-pour bar. It's fantastic. Get there, free parking, free entry. All you got to pay for are your drinks. And you control how much you pay because it's on the card. So if you only want like a $2 worth of alcohol, that's all you got to do. It's very simple, very easy, very convenient. Self-pour bars are the best bars, in my opinion, and should be everybody's opinion, and Tap That Tap Room does it better than everybody else, so get down there Sunday, 4:25, Bills-Eagles, stay at 8 p.m. for Bandits versus Roughnecks. Find out what else they got coming up, because I believe they got some good stuff coming up in January. Check out their Facebook page and find out what's on tap and what's on deck. Check out tapthattaproom.com, because they have something.
For everyone.
Oh, man, I remember when I used to get you with that, like, what is this? Going close to 2 years working with them? Oh man, well, I used to love it.
Not anymore. We're pros.
Well, yeah, we are pros. Pros in that territory, not pros in very many other things. Bandits versus Roughnecks. Bandits coming in 1-1, coming off a loss. Calgary 0-2, coming off 2 losses. Buffalo and Calgary both 2 games in, 11.5 goals for, which is tied for second. Buffalo is giving up 10 goals per game, Phil. If I told you this was 9th in the league, my God, man. Like, the scoring is, I think I saw like 3 to 3.5 goals lower per game to start the season. I know it's going to bounce back, but Calgary is in 13th, 13.5. Power play. This is a big reason. I think special teams is a big reason why scoring is down. Buffalo's 50%, which is tied for third. Calgary's first at 67%. Again, only 2 games through. Penalty kill. Buffalo's 78% at second.
Dang.
Calgary, 70%, fifth. That's what's insane is these numbers. And again, only 2 game sample size. We're going into week 5. Some teams have played 4. Some have played 2. So these numbers will work themselves out as we go. But the numbers early on are pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, I forgot who it was just recently they were going over that was like 0 for, I mean, the one game was 0 for like 13 or something in a combined game.
Yeah,
it was something last week. It was one of the games had just nobody scored and they had a lot of chances, both teams, and there wasn't a single power play goal for either of them. So that causes some weird things. Yeah, the goals for, I mean, even that is wild that 11.5 is second. In the league. I mean, that's not that high. I mean, the Bandits were up at 14 at one point last year, I want to say it was, and even that was clearly first, but now to be second and only 11.5 is pretty low. But to see Calgary's goals for at 11.5, I think is arguably the most impressive stat out of all of that, because they've played Saskatchewan and Toronto, 2 elite teams and elite defenses and goaltenders, and for them to have that kind of number is pretty impressive.
So we'll go over last year's numbers. This was back-to-back weekends. The first one, March 8th, was at home in Banditland. 17-11 loss. Calgary outshot them 58-55. Face-offs 21-11. Calgary was 3 for 6 on the power play. Buffalo was 0 for 2. It was 2-2 after 1, 7-6 at halftime, and I remember going on with John Gertler and Steve Bermel and saying, like, yeah, I fully expect them to turn this around, like, shut Curtis Dixon down. It didn't happen. Calgary outscored them 7-2 in the fourth quarter. Cook went nuts with 5. Dixon, 6 goals on 13 shots. King, 10-point night. Maya, 6-point night. Pace, 7 assists on 8 shots. Hayden Dixon only had 2, and then this was the first game, I believe, with Nick Rose in net. If I remember correctly, 44 55 saves. On the opposite side, Byrne, 5-point night. Dane, 4-point night. 2 goals on 13 shots. Burn, 2 goals on 13 shots, so they were combined 4 for 26 shooting. But game 2, a little bit different of a story. The next weekend in Calgary, Buffalo made the trade at the deadline. Got Matisse and Ron John coming over. They won 11-6, 51 shots both, 15-6 faceoffs for Calgary. Faceoffs matter crowd is inching in their boots. Buffalo was 0 for 2 on the power play. Calgary was 2 for 4. It was 3-2 Calgary after 1. Then Buffalo went on a 4-0 run in the second to take a 6-3 lead. It was 8-5 after 3, and Buffalo would take it the rest of the way. Dixon shut him down, 5 assists. King, 4 points on the night. Doby came back in this one, went 2 for 10 shooting. And remember, Tyler Pace got hurt in the first quarter in that game. But you look to the other side. Byrne, 3 for 13 shooting. Smith, 0 for 9 shooting. So the two main dogs did not perform very well. But also remember, Ian McKay played out the back door in both of those games. He was not out the front door for the majority of the time. But you're looking at these numbers for overall in both games. Vince had a 78.5 save percentage. Smith was 2 for 22 shooting. Bucky had a very good night, 5 goals on 12 shots. Scanlon, 1 for 4. Byrne, 5 for 26. Nanakoke, 3 for 10. Kluch didn't play in either of these games. You're looking over at Calgary. Cook went 4, 3, and 7 on 20 shots. Maya was really good in this one, 3, 4, and 7. Pace, 7 assists, but remember, got hurt game 2, so his numbers aren't there. Overall, between the two teams, because Calgary looks very different, Buffalo lost some pieces, but Buffalo lost 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points between Frazier and Kluch on 18 shots. And Calgary, this one hurt because they lost King and Curtis Dixon. They lost 11 goals, 16 assists, 27 points on 38 shots. And Nick Rose. So these teams are going to look vastly different than what they did last year, especially Calgary's. But when you're looking at it from last year, the big dogs that hurt Buffalo are no longer in this organization.
Yeah, and that's what still is kind of blowing my mind. I'll go back to what I said earlier, just that against 2 tough defenses and goalies, Calgary's still putting the ball in the back of the net this year. I know, like you just mentioned, they have Pace back, and he's looking really good so far to start the season. They didn't have him in the second game of this one, the series from last year, but it's surprising to see how well they've started the season. I know we have them toward the bottom of our overall standings. We said this whole time they're going to be a really tough out, but their offense to me has been very surprisingly good. I know some people said that it might be that way this year with them, even though they might not win a lot of games. They might just take the steps forward and be a little bit more surprising than people are giving them credit for. And I think so far they've kind of proved that early on against 2 really good teams to be able to put up what they are.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking to see. Injury report for this week is not out yet, so I'll keep looking. But forwards for Calgary, the lefties, Tanner Cook, number 12, Riley Lowen, number 89. He comes over from Vancouver in the offseason, and Braden Maya, the former 5th overall pick in 2024, number 55. They are righty heavy on this team. I mean, Tanner Cook is going to lead the way for the righties, but Maya is right behind him, and Lowen does the dirty work. For the righties, you got Hayden Dixon, who's got 10 points on the year. Matthew Gauthier is kind of like the grinder over there. Noah Manning, 9th overall pick this last draft, and Tyler Pace is the distributor, number 68. So while the names might not flash off the page and normal fans might not know a lot of these players, they're putting the ball in the back of the net. They're scoring with the best of them. They held they were right in it with Saskatchewan right to the fourth quarter. I know Saskatchewan let off the brakes, but they tied it 13-13 in the fourth quarter. They were right with it with Toronto the next week versus Nick Rose. This is not a game that you can look past this opponent thinking, okay, everybody's got him in the bottom of their power rankings. Everybody in their predictions had him missing the playoffs. Everybody thought this team was in a full rebuild, retool mode. Now, that's true, but they're a very tough out, and this offense can be deadly and put the ball in the back of the net. I think what your goal for Buffalo's defense is, if you can control Tyler Pace and keep the ball out of his stick like you did with Lyle Thompson, that's your best bet because he seems to be the guy that distributes it the best. I mean, he's got 10 assists on the year, 13 points. He's only got 9 shots. So that tells me the ball's in his stick a lot, but he's setting other guys up. If you can put we'll see if Zach Belter's back in this one. If Mitch the Snoo and Cam Wires and if Zach Belter's back can shut down Tyler Pace, I think you put yourself in a very good position to limit what Calgary can do on the offensive side of the ball.
I feel like that's a really scary sounding left side of the defense for the Bandits. Belter, Wires, and Desnu.
That's what they've been doing.
Sounds nice. Yeah, sounds nice. But yeah, I mean, the righties, like you said, a lot of it funnels through Pace. I think Noah Manning is doing a really good job so far. I know only 6 points doesn't sound like a lot, but 5 goals on 14 shots is someone to keep an eye out for sure. He seems to have a hot stick to start the season, so he's going to be, again, he's just a little bit more of an assassin over there, but for a rookie starting his career against, again, very good opponents, he's putting it in. So he's someone who could be sneaky for their team that just puts in a few goals and someone you really need to kind of keep an eye out for. But Pace is the one, like we said a lot of times, that there's usually one player you want to kind of shut down. I think I agree with you that Pace might be that guy, but the lefties aren't. They're right there with him. I mean, Maya has 8 assists, so he's not that far off. And then Tanner Cook's a pretty well-rounded player over there, too. So they have a pretty, at least to start the season, they have a pretty balanced offense. Like, I still think, I agree with you that Pace is a facilitator of the whole offense. I think he's the guy that everything kind of runs through. But they got enough people that can score and keep the pressure on across the board that you can't, other than Pace, you can't really focus in on any one player after that. The rest of it's pretty even, which is kind of what you want for an offense.
Yeah, and like we said, that it's for Buffalo's defense, what I'm looking for is no shifts with Paul Dawson and Kyle Matisse on this field at the same time, because you can get burned versus this team. Maya's very quick. I know on the opposite side, Noah Manning's very quick. He's an electric rookie. I agree with you. He's going to be able to put the ball in the back of the net if he gets the opportunity. We're looking at the defense. Carter Cook has not played yet, but Jack Follows, 10th overall pick last year. Tyler Hendricks, 36th overall pick. He has not played this season. So they're healthy scratching 2 guys on the back end. Justin Anasio, 79% at the faceoff dot. Connor Farrell's got his workout out for him. He struggled versus Anasio last year. That's who the faceoff dot battle was last year. Riley Isaac's playing out the back door. He can stay and play a bit. Braden Lady, you saw him in, I believe it was the second game. I do not believe he was a part of the first one, because that's when the trade deadline happened. Chris Delbianco went traded, and then Kyle Matisse. So you only saw him in one, but 9th overall pick in 2023. I'm waiting for him to pop. Liam McClare's back. He missed all last season, so you haven't seen him. Matsuoka's back there. Eli Salama got named captain, 10th captain in Calgary's history. Bennett Smith played in his first game 2 weeks ago. Matt Sykes is back there. But a player that Amran Wahidi really likes is Kyle Pepper, and this is what he got to say about him.
This is tough. I'd probably go with Kyle Pepper, just from what I've seen from him so far.
That goal is sick.
I mean, yeah, I told him afterwards, what a first goal in the NLL. I don't know if it gets much better than that, honestly. So, yeah, I would say him. As a defenseman, it just takes time. And, like, learning the system, you're playing against bigger guys. Like, man, your first game, it's not like you got, any favorites. You got thrown up against the Saskatchewan Rush, right? Like, they were in the finals. And this week, you're taking on the Buffalo Bandits. Like, if you look at the schedule, the first 6 or so games here for this club, like, they're tough games. And I don't think Kyle's looked out of place in any of those games so far at all either. He's another one of those guys like Braden, where I think his weapon could be his legs. And I think, in the NLL, as the years go on, I mean, this is nothing new to the transition game, but having legs, like, it's important to be a fast team. That's important. I think Kyle's one of those guys that he can help add another dimension to the defensive end as well, too, in transition. And yeah, I just wouldn't be surprised. He has all the tools. All the tools are right there, and so I would definitely have him as one of those guys once Josh gets more time with him and he gets to learn the system more and just be around the guys more. He's definitely one of those guys who sticks out.
So the biggest thing that Amran said to me that stuck out, besides the love of Kyle Pepper throughout the season, is the speed on the back end. They're young, they're fast, they're hungry. Buffalo, I'm not saying they have an ancient team, but they have veteran pieces on the forward group that this young core could give them troubles with their speed and their tenacity. The one other part that Buffalo could expose, though, is the lack of time that a lot of these players on defense have not had across the NLL. I mean, you look at it, Kyle Pepper's going to be playing in his third game. Jack Follows played 17 games last year. This will be his 20th NLL game. So there's not a ton of experience on the back end. Yeah, Liam LeClaire's there, Matt Swoka, Eli Slama, so on and so forth. But a lot of the other guys that are going to be asked to cover the Dane Smiths, the Josh Burns, can get exposed if they're put in a certain situation.
Yeah, I think one of the areas you see of their game so far to start the season that kind of exposes the inexperience they had is the cause turnovers.
Yeah, not there.
They have very few. They have 8 so far through 2 games. Their leading is Salama with 3. The rest of the team has 1 or fewer. So I think that kind of comes with knowing where your teammates are, knowing how to play off each other. So those kind of situations get exposed because they don't really have the chemistry that a veteran team might have, like the Bandits do through their 2 games. They're sitting at 17 caused turnovers, so they have more than double, and you can just tell what the difference looks like between an inexperienced defense and experienced defense. But you said that speed could give Buffalo some trouble. Again, they're not an ancient team, but everybody knows they're a veteran squad for a reason, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm still waiting. We'll see how long, but I need a game from Nanticoke still, and this is, again, with a younger team. He's someone who's younger on the offense and one of the younger players on the offense. I know he's been around for a while, but the other guys have been around for a lot longer. So he's a younger player that should be able to use his speed, use his legs to get into the dirty areas and find a way to score. So we'll see if Nanticoke can kind of match the Calgary defense in their youth and see what he can kind of bounce off. But I think the experience of the Bandits offense could kind of cause fits for the inexperience of the Calgary defense.
So in net is Aiden Walsh, comes over to complete the Chris Del Bianco deal. He's 0-2, 12.81 goals against, 74 save percentage. Those numbers are a bit inflated based on what happened game 1 versus Saskatchewan, first game in that system. I would look more towards what he did versus Toronto and what he did when he came back in the game versus Saskatchewan, where he kept Saskatchewan at bay, let Calgary get back into it. So I think those numbers aren't as good as what we saw in Vancouver, where he was 9.89 goals against and a 79 save percentage, but they're not as high as what they are currently through the season. I think those numbers are going to come back to the mean. And what's interesting is Buffalo played Calgary twice last year. Aiden Walsh wasn't on the team, obviously. They played Vancouver 3 times, including the playoffs. Buffalo hasn't played Aiden Walsh in 2 years. And the last time they did, Aiden Walsh got the best of them. And then they had to go from Vancouver back to Buffalo. And that's when they had the whole conversation and they went on that big winning streak and then beat then Albany in the finals. But there's not a ton of experience playing at Aiden Walsh. Like game 1 versus Buffalo, you had Brett Dobson. You faced him 4 different years. Game 2 versus Halifax, when you had Warren Hill, you faced him countless times. And a lot of those guys shoot on him in practice when they're playing with Six Nations. To me, the biggest X factor in this game is Aiden Walsh. If Aiden Walsh is on, I think Buffalo's going to have a tougher time beating Calgary. It's that simple. Aiden Walsh, when he comes out hot, he can be one of the better goalies in this entire league. But if you get to him early, I think you can shake him, and it will be interesting to see, okay, if Buffalo gets to him quick, does Josh Sanderson have a quick hook, talk to him on the bench, and put him back? And then it seems like, and I don't have the stats to prove it, but it seems like when a goalie gets hooked earlier in the game and either they go to the backup or they put the guy back in, a lot of times when they put the goalie back in, Buffalo seems to struggle to beat him a second time or beat the backup. It just dawns on me back to the Halifax when we were at Tap That Tap Room. Warren Hill gets pulled, Hutchison goes in, and the offense just gets shut down. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but to me, if they can't beat Aiden Walsh, I think they're going to struggle in this one because I do think that Calgary's offense can put in. If Calgary's offense gets to like 11 goals, I'm not feeling good about Buffalo's chances to win this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to exactly that. Can Buffalo's defense and goaltending beat out? I know that sounds super obvious, but like you said, I think it's going to come down to Aiden Walsh. I can see Buffalo's defense and goaltending being fine, but if Aiden Walsh can stand on his head, I think that Calgary is good enough right now with how they're playing to steal this game if Aiden Walsh comes out and plays an elite game. Like if he has similar numbers to how he did against Toronto, I think that's a game that Calgary might be able to sneak out.
Yeah, 100%. So we went over the players and everything. We'll go over our predictions right now, but maybe talk a little bit more if there is anything else you want to add to this game during this predictions. But with the NLL Pick'em, I took Buffalo. You took Calgary. So we'll see if you had your bet here. But 95% of the people that participated in that poll voted Buffalo. So, Phil, are you heading your bet, or are you going to stick to it and then predict Buffalo to lose here? So I'm very interested with this pick.
No, I am going to pick Calgary, and okay. I will kind of explain why. Again, Calgary's faced Saskatchewan and Toronto, and they did pretty good in both of those games. To me, this is just one of those situations where everything's kind of lining up to be a potential upset. There's not going to be a single game on this schedule that Buffalo can't win. Like they have the ability to beat every single team in the league. They've shown it for years. The team's good enough to beat anybody. So every single week they can win the game, but they're going to Calgary, which isn't great. It's Calgary's home opener, which isn't great. Bandits, to me, I mean, we've already seen them, and they don't like coming off a bye, which they're coming off a bye week. And to me, this team is just not in mid-season form. It's not the middle of the season. I don't expect them to be in mid-season form. But this choppy start to the season, they don't like it. I don't think their offense is going to be settled in yet until later in the season. I just think this is a situation. I don't think they're going to get blown out by any means. I think it'll be a close loss, but I think everything can kind of add up to them losing this game. I just don't think they're really ready yet to be the team they want to be. And I think a team like Calgary has the possibility to take advantage of that situation.
What is your score prediction?
I'm going to go 12-11 Calgary. I think it'll be extremely close. I think it'll be a good game, but I think, again, with everything I just mentioned, I think Calgary can just steal this one because of how early it is in the season. If they did this again mid-season, I think Buffalo is just in better form. Right now, they just, not that they're playing poorly. I mean, Halifax is a really good team, so that was just a good game, but you can tell they don't like the bye weeks, and I just don't think this team has had enough time to settle in with their new pieces on offense, and even on defense, they've had a rotation pretty much every single game of somebody new back there. So this team with injuries and the bye weeks, I just don't think they're as established as they'd like to be.
So while I agree with everything you said, and I would not be shocked if Calgary does upset Buffalo, and off the bye, the offense didn't look good the last time we saw them versus Halifax at home. First away trip, and it's in Calgary. Calgary's home opener. Fresh off the holidays. I get all that. Third game before even the New Year's. That rarely happens for Buffalo. I get all that. But you have picked Buffalo to lose, I think, for like 4 times, and it's never happened. So the odds of that happening are very slim. And overall, because they rarely lose, I got Buffalo winning 11-9, but it is going to be a nail biter all the way through. Like, I don't think Buffalo is going to have more than a 2-goal lead at any point. I don't think Calgary, if they do lead, it'll never be more than 1 goal. So I do think this is going to be a very fun game to watch, especially since it's on ESPN2. So if you just got basic cable, you can watch it. But I think for the average fan, this is going to be a very fun NLL game to watch. If you're a Buffalo Bandits fan that just thinks Calgary is just a washover, I think if Buffalo pulls this out, you're going to be in the comment section going, yeah, but you only scored this many goals, and it was a lot closer versus a bottom feeder team that lost all their players. I think that's already the comments that I'm going to be seeing. But I got Buffalo winning 11-9 versus Calgary in their home opener. But it's
so
going to be
two quick things for you. One, with us saying that means Buffalo's going to win 15-6, and it'll be a blowout and won't even be close. Number 2, who do you got on the offense, or what kind of lineup with? And we've talked about the roster crunch already in previous weeks. We don't know what the roster crunch currently is because we don't know who's injured. But what is your? I know you've been fighting against the offense with the bonus players. So what is your ideal? I guess we'll go offense. We don't have to get into the defense because there's too many ifs and buts down there. But who's your offense if you had to choose? And if you're going 7, who are you adding on the back end or hoping to add?
Ifs, buts, or coconuts. The issue is I don't know the health of Zach Belter, and I think he's close just based on he's been questionable the last 2 games. This is going into game 3, week 5 of the NLL season. it'll be interesting because they have until like Sunday to make a move. So I don't really even know. Their practice squad's fully full. Did anybody get hurt in the last game that isn't fully healthy yet? Are they going to put somebody on the holdout list? So on and so forth. I think my perfect roster is Zach Belter's back healthy. He goes back in the lineup. That means you can switch up your forward group. If they go 8 forwards again, Phil, I'm going to go insane. It's not a good offense. And every player and coach has said it. Like, it's tough to get a good rotation when everybody's going to the penalty box and you can't get a good flow and there's new players already. So I think overall, to me, if you're going to go 7 forwards, I think you're going to go lefty strong to me, because I think Scanlon, to me, has a higher ceiling and has played better than both Mike Trillo and Lucas Nielsen. But overall, I think Nielsen's probably going to be a healthy scratch. Trillo's going to be in there. Scanlon's probably going to be the odd man out. That means you put Belter back there. I just don't know where you're going to free up the spot to get Belter back in the lineup. But I think they're going to end up going righty strong, even though I think they should go lefty strong to me. But yeah, that would be. And then you got to get Nanticoke going. You got to get Bucky going, because he's been quiet this season. You got to get Benesh back into this one, even though he's had a couple of good games. McKay's got to get back and find the net again. So it is a test of the game before you come back home versus Vegas with Chris Cloutier and Chase Frazier back. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the lineup decisions are, especially if Zach Belter's back healthy, especially if Coltrane's back healthy, if Matt Spanger's back healthy. Like, I think all 3 of those guys are closer than a lot of people think, especially Zach Belter. I would not be shocked, but what does the lineup look like? What moves are they going to pull out of their hat? How is Steve Dietrich going to work this system here? But yeah, it's going to be very interesting, but we're going opposite ways. You got Calgary, I got Buffalo. Phil?
That's all I got.
Milestone minute. We're going to crank this out. It's the fastest milestone minute in all the land of all the podcasts in general. All these possible milestones can be found on X and Blue Sky Buffalo Sports Co. We post them leading up to each and every game. So if you miss one and you don't want to listen back, you can check for them there. I'll be posting them Saturday and Sunday. Not Friday anymore, because they play on Sunday. Phil, there's 8, 9, 10 of them maybe. I didn't count. But here we go. If Dane Smith plays on Sunday, it will be his 200th career game. He would also tie Rich Kilgore for 4th place in games played in Buffalo Bandits history. If Matt Vince plays on Sunday, he will tie John Tavares for 2nd most games played in NLL history with 309. Mike Trillo is 2 points away from 100 for his career. He averages 2.09 a game. Cal Buchanan is 9 loose balls away from 1,100 for his career. He averages 5.49 a game. Paul Dawson is 5 loose balls away from 1,000 for his career. He averages 3.48 a game. Connor Farrell is 9 loose balls away from 200 for his career. He averages 7.8 a game. Ian McKay and Tehoka Nanticoke are both 2 goals away from tying Roger Weiss for 10th place in Buffalo Bandits history. McKay averages .9 a game. Nanticoke averages 1.45 a game. Nick Weiss, 3 loose balls away from tying Jay Thornburg for 6th place in Buffalo Bandits history. He averages 6.02 a game. Josh Byrne is 1 cause turnover away from tying David Brock for 10th place in Buffalo Bandits history. He averages .49 a game. And Connor Farrell is 25 faceoffs away from tying Corey Bomberry for 3rd place in Buffalo Bandits history. He averages 27.96 a game.
I think you got it.
Yeah.
I think you just snuck in under the wire.
I was a little slow to start because I've noticed that I stumble to start. So if I go a little bit slower and then turn up the volume a bit, I can do it.
Cal Buchanan, loose ball machine. He is he's a vacuum out there, and the McKay and Nanticoke thing was kind of funny as you were reading it. I was like, that doesn't sound right. But McKay is, 1 year he had electric and not his whole career. So I was like, oh, that makes
He's also played in 102 games, and Nanticoke's only played in 65. So that also helps.
It sounded funny when you read it, though. I was like, wow, McKay's been putting the ball in the back of the net like no one's been. Oh, it's career. I got you.
NLL Week 5, 4 of the games, all on Saturday and not spread out. So 6 o'clock comes by, you're going to be camped on the couch. 6 p.m. Saturday Eastern Standard Time, Saskatchewan 2-1 faces the undefeated 2-0 Halifax Thunderbirds. You took Halifax. I took Saskatchewan. The people took Halifax at 64%. Phil, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, we'll blitz through them. Basically, Halifax, can Hill keep it up? How long can the streak go for him? Is this going to be his season, or is it going to come crashing back to earth? And then is Saskatchewan for real? They lost to Ottawa, only scored 7 against Georgia. Who is the rush this year? I know it's very, very early. I'm not worried about that team moving forward, but only 7 against Georgia is not great. I know Dobson played great, but still not a good look. And then losing to Ottawa, also not a great look for them.
Yeah, pretty much what you said. Hill, can he keep it up? Does Halifax offense figure it out versus Chiliano? Because they haven't really. I think the bigger story has been Warren Hill on the back end that everybody's focused on, but their offense hasn't really gotten going yet. So that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, Saskatchewan, can their offense figure it out and go back to what we saw versus Calgary game 1 and then play a full 60? Because I think Pat Gregoire and Teddy Jenner said it on OTCB After Dark. I don't think we've seen a full 60 minutes out of Saskatchewan yet. Saturday, 7 p.m., 1-1 Philly, who have 19 goals on the year. So far, my bold prediction's holding up. And 1-2 Ottawa. We both picked Ottawa, and the people picked Ottawa at 67%. It was a closer voting, these next 3 games here. Phil, what are your thoughts on this one? And to you, I guess the question is, who is in more of a must-win territory, even if it might not be must-win?
Ottawa, to me. I even had that they question. Need to get back on track. Philly, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, without Demuth, correct?
So that was corrected. I think
he's back.
I think it was Teddy said it that it got corrected. So both Hartley and Demuth will be able to play. I believe he said it's under 2 minutes, not under 5 is the correction. And they did it at the 3-minute mark, so they should both be back in as long as they're healthy.
Snuck it in. I was going to say that he gets some rest, but he does not. He's back out there just taking a million shots. Dalton
Say
Young,
hi to Jeff Teat.
Yes. Dalton Young is off to a good start as a rookie, but he's still looking for his first
He did
goal.
play last year, though, so he's not a rookie.
Oh, I think somebody had him as a rookie.
He might. I don't think he's labeled as a rookie, but I think he played out the front door 2 games at the end of the season last year. I don't remember exactly what they classify as rookie, but he was on the team last year on the practice squad.
Young player, Dalton Young.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't want the comments to come get you, Phil.
No, that's fair. He's off to a good start this year, though, but he doesn't have his first goal of the season. Can he get that? Higgins off to a pretty good start for himself, but he had a little bit of a rough outing last time. Can he get back on track with Ottawa? Speaking of Ottawa, can Kiernan get back on track? He needs to put up more points. He's off to a bit of a dud of a start himself. And the Ottawa themselves lost to Seals, lost to Vegas, but beat Saskatchewan. Very fluky. You would think that all of that would be the opposite way. So Ottawa needs to get back on track, needs this victory. I mean, it's early in the season, but I think this is, like you said, a must-win for them.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting one for Philly because I thought their offense was looking better last week versus Rochester, and I know Rochester probably let the foot off the gas a bit, but does Philly's offense come back? I think their defense is shot regardless until Scott Dominy comes back, and Nick DeMuth's going to have temper tantrums and nightmares back there. But Ottawa, it's a must-win for Ottawa. If you fall to 1-3 and lose against Philly, you got a big hole to climb out of. Teat's got to get going. I think he was 1 for 20 shooting last week. It's not good enough. Kiernan kind of disappeared after what we thought he was going to thrive in a secondary role for the righties. Hellier has been as advertised, but they've gotten little help on the right-hand side regardless. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Ottawa comes out of here with. But everybody's picking Ottawa to bounce back here. Saturday, 7 p.m., same time, 1-1 Vegas versus 1-1 Toronto. Vegas is coming to Toronto. We both have Toronto, and the people have Toronto at 61%.
Yeah, can Kells have a repeat performance to steal
Biggest
another
story.
one for Vegas? I think Toronto's offense has been a little bit weird to start the season. It's been a lot of young guns. Their second game was much, much better from the veterans, but their offense, again, they just need to keep it going. But can Kells kind of shut them down? They've been a little bit of a weird start to Toronto's offense. And then Vegas, what can their hot offense do against Toronto's defense and Nick Rose? Like this is a great test early on for Vegas's offense, and I mean it looks pretty good at times, but it's going to be a really tough challenge. So, which offense actually can show up and play, and then can Kells kind of steal this one for Vegas and play as amazing as he did last game?
Yeah, can Kells look like he did last game? Can the offense look like they did versus the first half rather than the second half? Because second half, they got shut out. Like, it got embarrassing in the second half, watching Ottawa come all the way back. I know Higgins played unbelievable when he came back in, but still, you can't go that long without a goal for Vegas and expect to win. So that's going to be a very big telling sign. I think both of those teams are, at least to me, they were teams that are in like the 10-9, 8-7, 6 range for playoffs type of thing. And when it's head-to-head like that, you need the tiebreakers, and I think whoever wins this one gets the leg up on the other one, especially sitting 1-1, but you get the tiebreaker as the head-to-head. So, yeah, does the righties continue to score for Toronto, and what does Kells do in net, and how does Vegas offense flow through the full 60 minutes? That's going to be interesting as well. I do not expect Jack Hanna in the lineup, but we'll see. 1-2 Georgia goes to the 1-1 Calgary, 9 p.m.
Colorado.
Saturday. Colorado, thank you. 9 p.m. It's almost the hour mark. I'm winding down. We both have Colorado. Colorado, 84% with the people's picks. Phil, I do not expect Andrew Q back in the lineup. That's definitely going to hurt Colorado. Georgia, falling to 1-3. Would not be ideal for them. But Lyle, does he heat up? He's had 1 assist in 2 of the 3 games. Has not looked right. I don't know if he's nursing an injury, wants to be out of Georgia, what it is, but he has not looked good. Colorado didn't look good versus Philly. I know they chipped back away at it, but their offense looked putrid without Andrew Q. This is going to be a very, I think out of all of them, this is the one that I could see being like a 7-6 type of game.
Yeah, that's pretty much what my 2 comments on this game are, is which offense can get going.
Yep.
Colorado scored 10 goals, looked okay, then only put in 7. Swarm scored 11 goals, looked okay, and then put in 9 and 4. Like you said, Lyle, something's going on. Either it's like you said, he wants out, he's not healthy, something. He needs to get going for that team if they want any shot at playoffs. Starting 1-3, not a good look for them, but Dobson is off to an incredible start in his 3 games. He has an 84 save percentage and 8.23 goals against. Pretty ridiculous for a 1-2 team. But
yeah, and with their back end being as young and as inexperienced as they are, I really like their back end.
Really good so far.
Yeah, that's a good throw out by you, by Dobson. Coming in year 4 after having down years since his rookie year, it's a great bounce back. But that will wrap up this one. We went a little bit quicker, and I know we're right around the hour mark, and everybody's going, that's quick. Yeah, it is for us. But day after Christmas, later recording, and holiday weekend, I guess you would call it, after Christmas. Everybody's got things to do, so we wanted to do a quicker episode. Blitz it, but get it out to you for listening pleasure. Remember, Amran Wahidi, you can listen to that interview. Came out on Wednesday. Get you prepared for Roughnecks, Bills versus Eagles on Sunday, 4:25. Bandits, 8 o'clock after that. You got the Sabres playing on Saturday. Can they get to win number 8 in a row? But we'll be back Tuesday, remember. Not Monday, Tuesday. We're recording on Monday, out on Tuesday. Look for Phil's article coming out. At the moment, we still got Zach Greer coming on Wednesday, just fine-tuning exactly when I'm going to be jumping on with him to record. Phil's article some point Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll let you know. Power rankings next week. Pick 'em next week. And good luck in everybody's fantasy championship. If you're not in a championship this week and you're in it next week, I do not consider you a real fantasy football league. Suck my butt. I had to squeeze that one in because I do it all the time, Phil. Wrapping this one up, so we're going to thank everyone for listening to another episode of the Buffalo Sports Collective. Thank you to Tap That Tap Room for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Buffalo Sports Collective, and on X and Blue Sky at Buffalo Sports Go. Visit our website at buffalosportscollective.com. Look for Phil's article next week there. Follow our channel wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure you leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Make sure you take a nap on Sunday because it's going to be a late night. Till next time, bye-bye.